Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Pamela here with Passionate About Scrapbooking, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the Texas Hill Country in Fredericksburg, Texas, a beautiful little tourist town, one of the most popular little tourist towns in Texas, not just the Texas Hill Country. Welcome to Feel Good Friday, live with Pamela, where I'll be creating some fun fold cards for you today. Please say hello if you're joining me. Let me know where you're viewing from. How's your Friday going? Do you have any big plans for the weekend? Let's see. I'm going to get my chamois wet, a little bit wetter. It's kind of dried out. So 1 second, please. So I've had so much fun this week with the Floral Delight or Delight. Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember the name of it all of a sudden. I think it's Floral Delight. Suite of products, so bright and cheerful. That Daffodil Delight, just you can't help but be happy when you play with this collection of products. So, how's everyone doing today? Let me know. Let's see. I've got my pages that I created Monday and Wednesday. So let's do a little review real quick. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, so we've got these pages that we created on Monday. So fun. Love these photos of Bevan in her funny glasses. We went shopping down on Main Street, and so I journaled about her having to pick up and touch everything. We stopped by and got some ice cream, and we did some die cutting on here. I incorporated the wishing die cut into the title, added a little bit of ribbon. We have these beautiful little bee trinkets. I called them butterflies on Monday, I think, but they're actually little bees. And this was an old close to my heart pattern that I used. So please let me know if you're here, comment, say hello if you don't mind. Let me know where you're viewing from. And then this was our scrapbook page that I made on Wednesday for Story and Sketch, using that beautiful Daffodil Delight for the base. And then I taught how to stamp part of your title into the actual journaling. So you can see wishing is part of the journaling. And then we did some die cutting with the vellum paper and the cardstock and DSP. I even fussy cut out a couple of flowers out of the designer series paper and showed how to do this little kind of silhouette look with one of the dies. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for being here. Stick that back in there, put it away, and let's see if I can get that in there. Let me share about the Scrap and Create kit for the week real quick. Every week, I'm putting together a scrap and create kit using the designer series paper for the week, along with coordinating cardstock. So most of it is in here. I'm missing a Daffodil Delight 12 by 12 because I have some on order that should be coming in today to be included in the kit. It's a two-toned cardstock. All right, this is the vellum, the printed vellum sheets. You'll get 6 by 6 pieces, 3 sheets of that in your kit, along with a 6 by 12 sheet of each of the patterns in the Daffodil Delight. We'll flip that over so that you could see that. Lots of pretty patterns, lots of pretty lemon lolly and Daffodil Delight are the colors. And then you'll get several 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock with probably some white as well. I didn't throw that in there yet. But these white pieces are for your scrapbook pages. There's 3 sheets of white willow. There's 2 sheets of the old olive two-tone cardstock. And then you'll get a sheet of that 12 by 12 Daffodil Delight two-tone cardstock as well. So to get your hands on one of these, you either can submit a $50 order through my website at passionateaboutscrapbooking.stampinup.net. So $50 before tax and shipping. And then I'll ship one of these to you for free. You'll also get a sampling of the ribbon and the bee trinkets, enough to work with all of your projects for the week to recreate. So the Scrap and Create kit will include all the paper, cardstock designer series paper, and embellishments to recreate the projects. You'll just need to get your hands on this Delightful Wishes bundle. Excuse me. Which is truly delightful, especially when you open it up and see all these dies. So, of course, you can buy the stamp set separately, the die separately, but when you purchase the bundle, you get 10% off. And that's, I think, just through April 30th. And so it's got some great stamps. My happy birthday is stuck over here on a block because we'll be doing a happy birthday card today. And I haven't decided what the second card will be, but we'll be making 2 of the fun fold cards. And what else do I want to tell you? Yeah, last night we did our Storybook Life craft along. So I've included the video link if you want to watch the replay on that. We created 3 2-page layouts in 2 hours. It was so awesome. I love that you can do that in just 2 hours. And then be on the lookout for the new stamping rewards that will go live on April 15th. Be sure there is a link to my website in the description. You can go and update your customer account or create a new customer account and be ready for that to begin on April 15th. All right, so I've got the first card all prepped. The second card is probably going to take a little while because I don't fully have it prepped. And we'll just see where it goes. I was really excited about the second card. Both of them are. This one I kind of dreamed up a little bit, but I am also inspired by Elizabeth Price. Again, she's amazing. She's a former artisan and she does beautiful work. And I'm partnered up with her with the Paper Pumpkin Creatives design team to proofread her instructions. And she makes the cutest cards. So I'm looking, oops, that's not my mouse. 45 minutes left. I'm not sure what. Oh, this must be like my calendar or something. There's some new notification up at the top. Just checking to see what that was. All right, so let's get busy. We'll create our first card. See all that stamping and die cutting I already did? Thank goodness, or we'd be here several hours probably, which who knows, we still may be, depending on how the second card goes. But I've been thinking I wanted to do it all week long, so we'll figure it out. All right, so let me, oh, check, what is this? This is a flip flap. Did you know you can use flip flaps in your cards? Yes, you can. All right, just moving all the little bits over here, maybe get, all right, so we'll have all that there. So I took a 6 by 12 inch piece that I had left over that I hadn't cut into at all. I think this was the only one that I hadn't cut into at all. That's one side of the paper, and then that's the other side of the paper. So I ended up cutting it down to 5 1/4 inches, and then it's 12 inches long. And then I scored it at 4 inch increments. So 4 inches, 8 inches. So you have four panels that are 5 1/4 by 4, 5 1/4 by 4, each one. And then there were several ideas, different ways you could do this. You could fold it in like this. If you do that, you'll see you would have to trim off just a smidge right here and probably right like on each end, just maybe like a 1/16 of an inch. But then I decided when I thought about Elizabeth's card that I was inspired by, I think it's this way. I'm going to use it this way, kind of like a Z fold card. I chose not to use the floral pattern because I have some elements on here that I want that will pop off here. All right. So again, 5 1/4 by 12 scored at 4 inch increments gives you that fun fold. And then we can take this and adhere it just onto a flat card base. This is Daffodil Delight. It's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So say hello if you're joining me. Let me know you're here. I know Debbie's here. I see her. All right, so we want it to open this way. Oh, and before we do this, I did have an idea. Just to show a little bit of that paper, I'm going to cut an inch off this end right here. I can just do it like in here. So let's measure it 1 inch and cut that off. Okay, so now we have this. And then on the back of that, that's the back flap, we're going to adhere that to this piece of cardstock. Probably should have checked my liquid glue before I started this. Okay, it's fixing to go. I was trying to get it to work yesterday. Not a lot is coming out, and I accidentally got a little bit of a Q-tip, not a Q-tip, a toothpick stuck inside there. I just ordered some more of that. All right, so it can go, so you'll have about a 1/16 of an inch border of Daffodil Delight. Yay, you got your flip flaps in. Okay, so you have this as your card base. Now let me see what, Okay, this was a mess up on my journaling, so I'm just going to use this side. So why don't we work on our um, insert, our inside. Let me grab something from the printer for a little visual. So I got to decorate up all these panels. So we're going to start with this one right here, which will be our flip flap. So let's move this out of the way and we'll work on that. I'm going to decide. Yeah, I think I'll do the light side, but we're going to stamp on here first. And we're going to do some stamping that we haven't done so far. So we're going to figure this out together. I think I've got this piece right here. It's a branch. So again, I haven't actually done this yet, so hopefully I'll figure it out for you and not mess too much of it up. I'm gonna go ahead and put my sentiment away. I already stamped it right here. So we'll need, for our branch, we'll need some pecan pie. And we will stamp it just right here in the center, like that. And then there are some leaves right here that should nest in here. Figure out how to do that. We need the old olive. I'll put that over here. Good morning, Christine. Thanks for joining me. And I haven't used any of these, so all right, let me kind of look. I think it goes about right here. Maybe I need to turn it to this way just a little bit. So the top and the bottom leaf are right on the stem. So you line them up like that. These are so much easier to create than when you open this up and you're like, oh goodness, am I able to do that? All right, and I think that's, okay, so we do get to stamp this one right here. So I'm probably going to stamp the outline first because I think I found that that kind of helps with the solid image. And we're going to do those in Lemon Lolly and Daffodil Delight. So we'll start, since we want the outline to be darker, we'll start with the Daffodil Delight. And I'm just using a picture from another, okay. So there's this little area right in here that I'm going to try to match up right there. Then there's a flower over here. Before I put any ink on, I'm going to kind of see, yeah, I think it's going to be about like that. So let's get it inked up. And you can actually see it better once. So that one, that one. Okay, so I think that's good. Yeah, that looks really good. It didn't overlap. I didn't cover up any leaves, so I guess I'm on the right track. And then we have the solid image, which I think will be about right there. This one we'll do with Lemon Lolly. All right. And then just line those up. Perfect. That was really easy. Let's see. Oh my gosh, your Lemon Lolly has black ink writing. I've been asking for that forever. I guess so. Maybe the light ones. Yeah, because this is new in the last, well, probably since about December. So that's probably when I got that one. I don't think they're all like that. I think it's just the really light ones. So I was looking to see that. Yeah, because this one would help, but it's not like that. The soft sea foam that I got. I think that's the only one that's like that right so far. Anyways, that's all I can tell you, Christine. Okay, I think that's it, and we will glue this onto this. This piece was a 2.5 by 3.5 piece. Again, I just used a scrap of cardstock that I had printed some journaling on and that did not end up using. So it's just fine there on the back because now no one even knows it was there. And then we are going to slide it in, but we're going to do it backwards. I got to get both layers in there. This is going to be the front. And we're going to adhere it into here. But first, I feel like I'm missing. Oh, it's not that piece. Let me figure out what piece I'm missing. I have that over here. I think I'm going to go ahead and layer that on there. I got to go through my scraps. I think I'm missing a strip or I need to cut another piece. I don't remember. All right, so I can put this piece right here. I think I was going to do something different right here. I could use that piece. I think I will. I think I was going to do some green, but let's just use this piece because it fits perfectly right here. That's the one that we cut off the front. So let's multi-purpose. And then now we can put this, we can hear it. So the flip flaps, they come like this. There's a little score line, like right there at the end of the tape. And you want to flip it backwards. And I need a piece of white cardstock. I just realized, think I can do that in just a second. Let's go ahead and put this down. I'm just going to center it in here. And this is just going to give us another fun element to the page or to the card. Okay, it'll open up like that. We're gonna get a little piece of white. I'm just gonna grab a new sheet because I didn't pull out any full sheets for the kit yet. And we'll do 5.5. Because a lot of this was used for cutting your dies. But then we need a piece that is 3 by 4. So let's do 3 by 4. And this is where you could write your hidden sentiment. So you'll just want to line it up. I like to lay it on here to line it up. That way it's right behind that piece. So there you go. And then I want this little piece over here. I do need to die cut, I believe, a Spotlight on Nature die circle. This is 4 inches by 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go right here toward the bottom with that. And I want the die circle right there. And then let's look at the front. We're going to take this piece and adhere it right down here. I'm going to do it all the way to the bottom. I didn't do the bone folder at all just because this was, pretty nice and crisp, I think. But you could go in here and crease those a little bit better. Okay, so we've got this going on so far. This piece, let me find my scissors. We're going to cut at an angle just to give it some flair. We're going to adhere it right here. And I think I will just do it. I don't think I got, let me see here. I did get a little glue there. So I'm going to I'm going to wipe it off, let it dry, and then I'll take it off with my rub and remove eraser here in a few minutes. I'm going to keep that handy. All right, now we want to build the front. We'll come back and do that die cutting and stuff in a minute. All right, I'm going to let it hang off right around there, kind of at an angle. I'm going to put my thumb right there so I don't put any glue. You could use your tape runner if you wanted to at this. I just have gotten to where I use the green glue mostly for card making. All right, so we'll have that little flap there. So you can let it dry, get the adhesive off of it. If it's still a little sticky, if you accidentally get some adhesive where it doesn't need to be, use your adhesive remover. You can also use your little pouch to kind of get some powder on there. This comes with the embossing kit. There, I think that's good. All right. Now we just need to add, let me get some dimensionals out because we'll definitely be using some of those. All right, so we need to build up our little wishing title. And I want to remember too, I want to see if I can do a little bit of ribbon. If I want to do a little bow, let's see what we got here. Do Yeah, I think if I do a bow, we'll tuck it under our wishing. Kind of make it long, pull it tight. And if you can get the tails to go in different directions, that would be kind of cute, but I don't know if I can. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's see if we can get this on to that piece. Now, I have not attempted to save. I don't even know if I'm getting any glue on there. I can't tell for sure. Yep, a little bit. I did not try to save the little tips of the eye. So if you have a white gel pen, that would be great. And you just kind of have to work on getting that lined up on there properly because it's so tiny. There we go. Whoops, my finger stuck to it right there. That green glue will get you every time. All right, so there's that. And then let's do, I think we'll put this on after we put our flowers on. So along with all of that, now let's put down some leaves. I stamped them in first and second generation, or stamp it and then stamp it off. And we'll kind of let it go over right there. I may want to put these down first. Oh, there's a little technique that I want to do with these little white flowers. So we'll do those in a minute too. So let's put these down so I can just tuck things up under them. I think there's 3 on here. On the front. And then maybe one down here. All right, and then we can start putting these down. And let's see what else. Maybe one more. Maybe a light one. Get her upside down. There we go. And like right in here somewhere. All right, so before we put down our little white flowers, so this is using, so I use this die for these, stamp them like we did the one on the inside. It's a layered stamp. Got some red fuzz or something. Can't remember what that was from Wednesday. Oh, I think it's from this right here. But so there's the 2 stamps, two-step stamping, and you cut it out with these. And then this is that little leaf right or flower right there. On Monday, I did these, I think, with some of those. No, I did that on another card that wasn't with this, I think. But today we're going to use this cute little stamp. One, we're going to get our Daffodil Delight. And I think I'm gonna stick it right over here in the corner. And I'm gonna try to ink up just one of the big dots on there and put it right in the center of these. We'll have to do all of these. So just, you get a little bit of the other one on there, that's fine. It's getting a little ink on there. But that's okay. You could do the whole cluster of 3, but I just like the one right in the middle. Add a little bit of yellow. You don't have to be super precise, because that one definitely wasn't. But you could always flip it over if you wanted to, but all right. And then we're going to move some things out of the way. We're going to bring all these onto here, our silicone mat, and lay them out a little bit. And let's see, let me decide what color. I think I'm going to get a stamping blend, and I'm looking at the background. I think I'll do the light pecan pie. We can put this away. And we're just going to texture them a little bit with a little bit of ink. Okay. Remember, texture is your best friend. If something just looks kind of plain and dull, you can use some of these techniques in there. All right, now I think I just need some mini dots. And actually, I'm not even going to use the minis. I'm just going to glue these right down here and there. Tuck them up under, overlap them over the leaves a little bit. Who's ever been to Washington, D.C. to see the cherry blossoms? I wonder if you could make this look like a cherry blossom. Yeah, I'm kind of to that point now, Christine. I can't see them either. I'm really struggling. And let's do one maybe right in here. And then we'll save these for the inside. And let's finish building up the front here. So I think I want to put down my glue or my bow with a glue dot. I think it'll just need one. We'll kind of let it go like right over that seam right in this area. Scissors. It's gonna trim that at a little angle. There we go. Just finishes it off nicely there, and it did end up going kind of opposite. And then we can add this over top of that. So maybe I'll do a little mini. Maybe I can fit it right here. And The W and stuff is going to, yeah, so I think then just around the G. If it's too big, you can cut those down just a tiny bit. So I'm just going to do those two spots. And I think it'll hold it on here just fine. Hey, Teresa. Enjoy your day at work. Let's see here. All right, I think that'll work right there over top. And then this one is going to go. You turn these minis just right, they will fit on this little label that is included in the dies. That one may need to move that over. No, we'll just do it right, like over here. Okay, we're good. Let me see if, yep. So wishing you a happy birthday. We'll put it right about there. Look how pretty that is. So pretty. And then we want one of these. I'm just going to put it up in the corner. Now you could have decorated this if you wanted to do something fancy with it, but I just left it plain. Going to adhere this right onto the flip flap down here in this corner, or this up in this corner. And then we're going to glue this right on top. Stick it right up under there and glue that down. And so you've got it decorated on the inside. Here's for your sentiment. And then I want to cut a circle from my Spotlight on Nature dies that we've used throughout the week as well. I love this one right here, but I don't think there's one the right side. I don't know, that one might work. We just do it like right up in here. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. So I do love that. I think it goes well. It's similar, yeah, it's a similar design to the paper, actually. We're just going to do this in white. Oh, let's see here. Let me find my scraps of white that I had. Now you could, on this piece, you can do several things, I guess. You might could put another sentiment on it. You could die cut or stamp some numbers. I think Stampin' Up! Only has the numbers that are in the Wildflower Birthday Collection dies. All right, so somewhere right around there. And I'm not familiar with any number stamps they have. You could put like HB for happy birthday, but you've already got happy birthday here. So if you have any ideas, brainstorming ideas, or you could just put the flower right there in the center. We're going to put it off the center there a little bit. We're going to, since, or you could just write something in there if you wanted to. But I'm just going to decorate it up like this for now. We'll have it kind of sitting right there. And then we'll do our last big flower right here. Tuck a couple of, I don't know, maybe just this one leaf will work. Up under here. And then we can take one of these. We'll stick it right on the piece up here. And then cluster these last two right around the circle and that big flower, like that. So you might could stamp something like love and then sign your name there, have your message here. All right, I think we just need some bee trinkets to finish it off. This is a darling one. I'm a little scared about the next one, how long it's going to take me to do. So we need, we need this end. We need our pointy piece. So this is how I've been doing it. I actually figured out that if you, let me cut off like that. If I cut through the glue dots, then it's not like a whole glue dot on each bee. And you really don't need this, I suppose. You could just stick the bees on here like this. There's that other piece. There's one. And I might need one more, so I have an odd number. There, we'll just do that. And then we can put some on the front. Those are so cute. I just love these so much. Oh, I've already got them. And maybe just one over here. We could even put one on our flip flap. And make sure they're not upside down. I guess it's okay if they're upside down. One right in here. Now, when you're putting them on the inside, it will bulk it up just a little bit, but all right. Here is our first card wishing you a happy birthday using a piece of designer series paper. Look at the back, that's pretty. Using a flip flap. And then you could even write on this part too if you wanted to. But I love this one. You do have to be kind of careful that it doesn't flip up right there. But that one's so pretty. There's your Z fold. So it could stand up on, this tilts forward a little bit because this is a little shorter than this piece, but it would still stand up on your desk. Wouldn't someone love to get a card like that from you? Yes, they would. All right, I'm going to set that aside and then let's figure out if we can figure out this next fun fold because it's pretty simple, but there's lots of layers. I cut this to be the base, so let's try that. I did want to try to incorporate some of this. So before I do cut, I brought in also some Pool Party, but I think I want to use the yellow as the base. I think that's too much blue. So we might incorporate some of that. but I'm not sure yet. All right, so let's get busy. Since I already have, because we just have to cut a lot of layers, I think, and then we have to do some stamping and die cutting. All right, so this is the base of our card, and it is going to be 5.5 by 9.5. Okay, 5.5 by 9.5. So let's score it real quick. I'm just looking at my instructions that I have. All right, so we're going to score at 2 5/8. So 1/8, 3/8, 5/8. And then I'm just going to rotate it around and do the exact same thing. So we have this. Now we also want to score, I'm not sure that I really scored that super great. So I'm going to do it one more time. So I can go a little harder on these. This 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Also want to score out here at 1/2 inch, all the way on the outside, flip it back around and do 1/2 inch too. So I'll walk through that one more time. Okay, so you could do, it's just easier to do the 1/2 inch mark on this side. So 1/2 inch in and then 2 5/8 in. All right. And then we're going to do a little surgery here. I might need to take a pencil. Let me find one real quick that has lead in it. I have all these cute little pink pens. And we're going to line it up right here, and we're going to mark it 1/2 inch. And then this is 5.5, so we can go up to the 4. I'm going to flip it around because I've got the numbers down here. A little tick mark at 1/2 inch and at 4 inches. Okay. And from here, we're going to cut to that 1/2 inch mark and then cut this out. We're going to do that on all these ends. Okay, flip it around, cut to the, from that tick mark. And this is a card. This is not a box. So this is what you do sometimes building a type of treat box or something. All right. So we might could save those for something later. Now we've got that done. Let's do this piece. We need to score it. And we will score it. Give me one second. Yeah, we'll just do it easy. We'll do 2 1/8. That's right there. I'll tell you what size this was in just a second. This was a 3 by 10 5/8. So these two pieces came out of one sheet. I'll lay it on a sheet here in a minute so y'all can get a visual. And then cut it 4 1/4. I mean, not cut, score. Okay, 4 1/4 and 2 1/8. And then we're going to rotate and do the exact same thing. So 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. All right, so you have, I don't know if I can show that to you, if y'all can see them. There we go. Can kind of see that. So you have 5 sections here. All right, let me grab a piece of cardstock just so y'all can see how it was cut from one sheet of cardstock. So it was done like this. Probably should have grabbed a different pattern. So you cut it at 5.5 this way first. So then you end up with those 2 pieces. And then you just trim these 2 down lengthwise to the 9.5 and 10 5/8. So instructions will be included in my Stamp and Create PDF for the week. Okie dokie. So we got that done. Now let's work on the assembly. So it's going to fold in this way. Okay. Let's score that first. And see how those overlap, but then it meets right there. And thinking that these are going to go back like this. So we'll score those 2. So I'm hoping I don't mess this up. All right, so this is what we have right here. Okay. Now this piece, we're going to score, there's the middle panel right here. Go in and go back. So like 2 Z folds. Okay, I think that's how it's supposed to work. I might do it this way. All right. Now we need to, before we do any of that, you can kind of see what's going to happen here possibly. We'll figure it out here in a minute. We need to do some cutting, figure out our patterns here. Here's some scraps that I have. I don't know how much layering I'll do exactly. Of course, this would be really pretty to do that on top of there. So we're going to see the front of the card like here. I like that. So I think we'll do some layering with that. Yep, on the front. So we only have a 6x6 piece of this. So let's work on these flaps right here. And they were the 2 1/8. So if we do 2 inches by 5 and trying to figure it out how much I want to show. I'm going to do 5 1/4 and let me do 5 1/4 first. 5 1/4. Let me look real quick. There we go. I'm going to do 1 7/8 there. Let's look and see on that. Yep, that's perfect. Okay. And I think I'm going to do that 4 times. We need some for the inside as well. We'll probably use a different type of DSP. And then this will be Let me look for 1 second. Not that. Give me a minute. Um, for this one, I'm gonna do 1 5/8. That was 5 1/4, right? 5 1/4. And then just do 5, I think. Perfect. Okay. So we'll have that. Look how pretty that is. Yeah, on that white. Makes it pop. Oops. And we still have this piece. And we'll do 5. So 1 5/8 by 5. And these will be for the front of the card. Once we get the layering and everything on here, then yeah, it'll assemble together pretty quickly. Okay, for this, you're going to want to be careful on what kind of adhesive you use. Whoops. Now, it's colored, so you won't really see too much of it. I think I'm just going to do like a couple of little dots. You can put them behind the flowers kind of strategically because you won't see them then. Okay, I just put a little bit of glue behind the flowers. And you'll never know that there's adhesive on there. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Debbie from Florida. Just kind of randomly. Let's see. Okay, now these can go on these two front flaps. So this one, I'm just going to kind of take my time, I guess, trying to figure this one out. Make sure I show it to you properly and get the measurements right. Okay. Pretty. And then this is going to go over the top somehow. That. Now we need to decorate the inside here. I'm going to go ahead and layer these in here. I guess we'll do white for all of that. And then we'll figure out what, probably that check right there will be pretty. So we have plenty of it. And I need one more piece. Let me find the rest of my card stock. I'm not sure. So I need a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. I'm going to go this way this time on here. Cut it down to 4. It was 4 1/4. Keep that paper trimmer handy. This is going to be a nice sturdy card. All right, so we've got this so far. Now let's do this paper. We just cut a couple of flowers out. I think I'll trim it down. That was 5 1/4. So trim it down to 5 inches. these pieces, and then we can just start cutting from here. We'll do the 1 5/8 for there, and that was 4, so it needs to be 3 1/4, and then 1 5/8 again. Just adding that extra layer of white just makes the card pop. I'm gonna like that that's clogged just a tiny bit because then it doesn't use so much glue. You get a much smaller amount. Now we might use some of the printed, like the floral pattern on some of these other layers, so then we're not quite having to cut so much. But I may have to bring in some from our scraps. We'll see what we're going to use. There, look how cute that is. That gingham looks really cute. All right. So I think that's kind of all we have to do to that. This is where we have to do some of the decorating. So let's see what else we have here. We've got that. I have a whole sheet of green. Just looking to see what, and then there's this. So some of this might be pretty. And I do have this gingham as well. So if we did more white, so let's go ahead and so we can see what everything looks like. We're going to adhere this to the inside. But first, we just want to get it centered. I think I'll close it up and kind of see better. We're going to center it right in the middle there. I just eyeballed it. So, and then somewhere we've got to figure out, okay, that's where, pull it open. It goes like this. So we can go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to use some tear and tape, I think, for those pieces. I think that might be a little sturdier or easier. Just okay. Keep this flat and then let that go right there. Same thing with this one. Tear and tape. I think this will help visualize what we want our layers to be for the rest of the card. I'll just do a bunch of white like we did there. All right, so now we just need to decorate these. And look at that. May want to trim that off just a smidge right there, but we can do that here in a little bit. Cool card, huh? This one will stand up too. So glad I attempted it. It's not as difficult. Just the decorating will take a little bit longer, but I might try to do stamping and die cutting to a minimum. So we want not that probably on the front. I don't know, it would be pretty with the white. And then we could put just a little sentiment or something. I don't know that I can really do wishing. I'm not sure there is. We could do lots of love without the wishing on the front. So I think I may do that. So this piece, these little segments right here are 2 1/8. So I can do 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. So I think that'll be my layer. Yeah. So then I need 4 more of those, and then we'll just put different types of pattern papers on there. Don't think that was a little short. Now, what was this? That's right at 2 3/4. So we can do 1 7/8. At least get another one out of that piece. And here's a little bit more. I need 2 more. So 2 3/4 by 1 7/8. So the stamping may not be too bad on this after all. That's what I was kind of freaking out about a little bit. We'll have to cut a little bit more paper. So we're going to cut this too. Let me see. This one, you can't really tell what's the front and what's the back. So that's, we want it to be 1 5/8. I think I just want 2 pieces, so I think I can get them both from this. It was 2 3/4, so 2 1/2. And I don't even know if I need 2 of these or just one, but we'll do 2 for now. Yeah, we'll do. And this, just do some adhesive kind of along. Whoops, let me clean this up a little bit. Like behind the, let's do a couple of places where the stripes connect. And that should be hidden. Okay. Now that I figured out the best way to use this vellum, I'm excited to play with it some more. Put it in the corners there, about halfway. I could put 1 or 2 right in the center-ish. And then we'll figure out what to put on those here in 1 second. All right, I like that. Some more of that red thread. It's a fun one. And then we'll just do this one the same. When it's pulled out, it's all kind of identical. Lots of check going on. Now let's bring in some patterned paper. Let me see. I'm going to dig in my scraps. Let me find them for 1 second. See what all we have. But I think I'll use these that are showing because all our other scraps are pretty thin or little. These scraps that we have. I'm going to bring that out. Maybe there's something in there I can use. Let me see what this one. My finger's stuck. I like these best with that white. And I think the smaller one, 1 2 3, maybe we'll do, we need a little white. We just need to leave this one white because we do need a place to write. That's just a little sentiment. All right, I think that'll work. I think we'll use this just to add that little bit of pop. So I already forgot what the measurements were. 2.5 by 1 5/8, I believe. Yep. So we'll do 2.5 and 1 5/8. So I think the paper does the, oops, it's going to go on here first, is kind of the wowie effect on here. And maybe I might fussy cut out one of these flowers. We'll see. Or at the front. See the little smudge. I don't know if that's okay. I think I got it. All right, that's pretty. I don't know that I'm going to worry about that. See how it shows right there? It's not a big deal, but you could trim it off just a tiny bit. If you trim it off, though, then this is not going to be centered. So I'm going to leave it. And ribbon wise, I'm not sure if I can get any ribbon in here or if I need to. Probably do need to crease some of these folds a little bit more. I don't know if I can, other than doing kind of like this. So it's not going to really stay shut. Okay, now let's decorate up the front. Let's see what we want. Let's see what we have in here from our leftovers. I'm going to just knock them all out. Let's see what we got. We can use anything. That's got a dot on it or something. A couple of vellum flowers left over, so these would be really pretty. And I guess I need to stamp a label. I mean, yeah, because this is just going to be too long to go across here. I mean, you could, because it would open up like this, but I think I want to do just the label. I'm thinking of those. We can use like these. I don't know that I'll use any of that because we don't need a whole lot. And what do I have left as far as like cutting? I'm just looking at the different flowers that I might could use. I fussy cut that out. I don't know that I really like those flowers on there. Let me see. I don't think I have anything else that'll work. We could stamp the bigger flower, possibly. Oh, I have an idea. Let me just get my scraps out of here. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. We're going to use these things right here, I think. Not those. We don't need that. And then I think I'm going to just do, we're going to do the label. So we got a stamp, I think. Lots of love. I think we're just going to do lots of love. So that is there. because that can go, I think that works fine without having the wishing. But what I was thinking I will do, let's do this big flower right here. Let's do the medium, the smaller one. And then I think that's all that we'll need because we have some of the little brown pieces that are cut. And we can do, this is two-tone. Okay, before I do that, let me stamp on a piece of white real quick. Find some scraps here that'll work. It's not long enough. We'll do it on this piece. Let me clean up something. Okay, we're almost done. This one turned out not to be as difficult as I was afraid it might be. What color do I want it to be in? My flower's going to be yellow. So I think I have pool party. That maybe green. Well, it would cost you the extra postage. I pay for the extra postage a lot, Flo, just because I like to mail my cards in clear envelopes because I think it's fun for the recipient. So I do pay a little bit more for my cards to mail. You can get a stamp. I think it's over $1 now. So yeah, it's postage is getting super pricey now. All right, I think I'll do green. Well, what do y'all think? I feel like we'll stamp it, right, we'll stamp it in each one and see real quick. I don't know if this will be, yeah, it might be bright enough. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stamp it again because there's a little bit of something on the end there. I'm gonna do it down here. Okay, I think that'll work. Lost Lagoon. Not Lost Lagoon, it's Pool Party. Second, hey Brenda, what is the name of this card? I have no idea. Let me see if there's a name on it. Nope. Double accordion gatefold. How about that? All right, so I need this and these. Making room here on my table for my cut and emboss machine. Let's do, don't have all my plates. Okay, there's one. And we'll cut this out. I'm thinking I'm going to do it on one end. I'll do it. Let me think how I want. Since it's longer, I think I'm going to do it on this end like that. And I want to try to do all this at the same time. I don't know if I can. So I want to do one side. I want this one light. So I'll run through again on the dark side with the inside of the layer. Yep, you could definitely hand deliver to maybe someone's having a birthday or something. Okay, there's that one. And there's that. And then flip that cardstock over and cut it on the dark side. So what's great about the two-tone cardstock and these type of dies, you can use one sheet, not have to do like Lemon Lolly and then Daffodil Delight. All right. And I think that's just gonna about wrap it up. Let's see if we can do like a little bow of ribbon, maybe. So we'll adhere or get that on there. I don't remember how it goes. I think right there. I don't know. Yeah, I think it goes right there on that. That one lines up, and then this one right over here lines up. And so then you have your shaded flower. So that's going to fill that up pretty well. And then I think I'm just going to let this overlap a little bit and cut this off right here. And we'll have a flower over this end right here somewhere. Hey, now I got to see if I can find my foam dots just to finish this front off. Now you could decorate up every panel if you wanted to, but we're not going to do that today. So let's do this first. Let me think about my ribbon, and maybe I can just do something similar and do another bow underneath there. So I can't think what else I would want to do. I'll make the bow part a little bit, if I can, a little bit bigger. Okay, glue dots. Maybe just going like this. Let me see. Got twisted me. There we go. About right there, I think. That's where we'll do it. And we'll do a dot maybe right there and right over here. I'm going to go off center a little bit. Okay, and then because we'll do a flower off over here. I have one with a dot on it already, but I think I might need to put some glue on it because I've been touching it. See if it'll stay. I think that'll work. And then this one. And then we're just going to tuck some of these leaves in and add a couple of bees. I think we might only need those two. Let's find my bees. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut through. I'm getting hungry. I have a shake over here that I didn't eat. Where are my bees? Oh, they're right in front of me. Sorry. There's so much going on. I think I'll just put two. They're so cute. They just add that last little bit of flair. I'll include some in your scrap and create kit, but if you want some, you better, if you, they're on low inventory right now. I have no idea if they'll bring them back. Probably, but guess I'll do it like right up in here. Be kind of hiding underneath there or something. There we go. And I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Clean off my space real quick so y'all can look at the mess I got going on. Lots of cleanup. All right, will that work? I think that'll work. So the sample card that I got this idea from was from Tammy White, and she had all kinds of embellishing everywhere. So you could add more things. You could maybe tuck a flower in somewhere, do some other things. You have leftover pieces. Oh, I didn't put this in here, so let me do this. Could do this too. I don't know that it's completely necessary, but oops, I'm gonna stick that right there in the middle. All right, so there are our two Wowie Fun Fold cards. These were a little more involved than what I normally do. So this one has a little tab here. This was out a piece of designer series paper and it had the flip flap in it. So there's that back of that designer series paper. I trimmed off just a little bit so we could show a little bit of it. And then this fun fold, which is a double accordion gatefold card. And they'll both stand up on the table. So make a really special. These would be great for Mother's Day. Think about that. And our other sentiments were wishing you were here, wishing you all the best, or wishing you a happy birthday, wishing you lots of love, wishing you well. So this would be a great one for Mother's Day, and this would be a great birthday card. All right, so thank y'all for joining me. Appreciate it. And let's see. Thank you so much. Well, if you don't like the bow, Brenda, then you don't have to include the bow. I just wanted to incorporate as much of the ribbon as I could in there. So there we go. I'll do it kind of at an angle, at a pretty angle. I can't keep it closed because there's lots of paper layering there. So, all right. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope y'all have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday for my Make It Monday live. And I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to be doing, what collection. I have a couple of ideas, but I've got to I'm only going to use current product until the last week of April. And I think that last week is when I'll start. It's like the last day or two of April. And no, that's not true. It'll be into our new catalog doesn't go live till May 6th. So that week on Monday, it'll be like May 5th, I think, Cinco de Mayo, and I will start using new product from the new May online exclusives and the brand new catalog. So I'm excited about that. So now I'm trying to figure out, I have one new collection that I'm going to be doing. And then I have two older ones that I think I might sneak in here that I have not played with yet. So that's kind of my plan, but you'll have to wait till Monday, I think, to find out what route I go. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, commenting and liking. Maybe share with your friends too. That would be awesome as well. All right. God bless you all. Take care.